We're going to spend one more day doing some application questions. This will be short. We're just going to look at 2 questions and then I'm just going to ask you to try one on your own. So we're starting from a point on the ground and it's half a mile from the base of a historic monument. So here's a half a mile and this is our monument. The angle of elevation to the top is 11.87. So let's go ahead and just take a moment and fill in the angles and the half mile. So here's the half of mile, so 0.5 miles. Okay, and the angle of elevation to the top is 11.87 degrees. We want to find the height of the monument. So we want to find this. This is the monument. And we want to find it to the nearest foot. So hopefully you realize that we have a slight issue in the fact that we're dealing with miles, but we want to be in feet. So it's kind of your call. You can either convert now or convert at the very end. I am going to choose to convert now. So the conversion needs to be miles and feet. So I take a look. I just put the reference sheet here on the bottom. So here we go. 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet, which means we need to do a little bit of a conversion here. So 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. We want a half a mile. So we want to cut that in half. Okay? When we cut that in half, that's 2,640 feet. So what I'm going to do now is just replace the half mile with our new unit of measurement, which would be 2,640 feet. Now we're set to go. So let's take a look and see what we have in terms of, we're dealing with the right triangle here. So let's label, we're trying to find the opposite side, we have the adjacent side, because we're working from that angle. So that means we're going to use tangent. So we'll use tangent here, so let's go ahead and set that up. Tan of 11.87 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. We'll go over to the calculator and cross multiply. So tan of 11.87 times 2640. Just want to make sure I'm in degree mode. I am, okay. And we get 554, so rounded to the nearest foot, 554.8, that's going to be 555. Okay, we'll take a look at just one more. So if you want, you could pause the video, try it on your own, and then just kind of scrub through and see if you got it right. Or if you want, you could follow along with me. Either is fine. So we have modeled in the diagram below an access ramp starts on a flat ground and ends at the beginning of the top step. So right here would be our top step. Each step is 6 inches tall and 8 inches deep. 6 inches tall, 8 inches deep. If the angle of elevation of the ramp is 4.76, okay, so let's just take a moment, we'll fill that in since that's not labeled. So the angle of elevation, you need to know, is this, 4.76. Determine and state the length of the ramp to the nearest foot. So the length of the ramp would be from here up to here. That's what we're solving for. So I'm going to go ahead and just label that as an X. So we're looking for that. And we wanted to find it to the nearest tenth of a foot, So we have, again, some conversions we have to do because I'm seeing inches all throughout. Okay, so we have to get maybe a little bit creative here and make a right triangle out of this. I'm going to go ahead and drop an altitude right here. And now we're we're dealing with now a right triangle. So I'll do the other side of the triangle. Oops. So we have our right angle here. And now let's see if we could start labeling some sides. So we know the height of this triangle. We know that this side would be 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches, because they say that each step is 6 inches tall. We're having 3 steps, so 6, 12, 18 inches. So that's 18 inches, and we have the angle, so we're actually pretty good to go. We have an opposite side. We want to find the hypotenuse side, so we can go ahead and actually use SOHCAHTOA here. We're dealing with an opposite and a hypotenuse, so that's going to be sine. So we could say sine of 4.76 equals opposite over hypotenuse. Let's cross multiply. So x times sine of 4.76 degrees equals 18. Divide both sides by sine of 4.76. And we'll go ahead over to the calculator. So 18 divided by sine of 4.76 to give us, just want to be able to grab all the numbers, to give us 216.91414 ... inches. Okay, it's in inches, but the question clearly stated earlier to find it to the nearest tenth of a foot. So we need to convert. So we need to think about inches to feet. Hopefully we know that there are 12 inches equals 1 foot. So I think probably the easiest thing to do would just be to divide by 12, see how many groups of 12 we can make. So dividing by 12 gives us 18.07, so to the nearest tenth, 18.07 would be 18.1 feet. So now we know that this ramp, that ramp is 18.1 feet. Okay. Next part, determine and state to the nearest tenth of a foot the horizontal distance d from the bottom of the stairs to the top of the ramp. So now they're asking us to find this. So we want to find that. Okay. Well, it's going to be hard to make a triangle this way because we don't know what this height's going to be. So we need to get a little bit more creative. Something we can do is find this distance, and then subtract away 16 inches. Okay, so we could find that whole thing, then subtract away 16 inches because this is 8 and this is 8, so this here is 16, and then that would give us the length of from there to there, d. Okay, again, they want us to convert it over to feet, so maybe we could just find it in inches first and then convert at the end. So we'll still use this red triangle here. But this time we'll use this side, this adjacent side, and this opposite side. So I'm going to use tangent. I'll use the opposite of 18 inches, and I want to find this here. Maybe I'll call it y. So I'll call it y. And then we'll subtract 16 inches from that and then convert it over. All right, so we're going to use tangent. So tan of 4.76 equals opposite over adjacent, 18 over y. Okay, so tan of 4.76 equals, opposite is 18 inches, over y. Put this over 1 and cross multiply. Y times tan of 4.76 equals 18. Divide both sides by tan of 4.76. Go over to the calculator. 18 divided by tan of 4.76. Okay, so that whole thing is 216. But now remember, this whole thing is 216. But we need to subtract away 16 units because we need to subtract this 8 and this 8. So I'm going to now subtract 16. So we get that, oops. We get that D is 200.1660169 inches. Once again, we need to convert over to feet. So I'll take this answer and divide by 12. So divide that by 12. To get, and we want to round to the nearest tenth, so 16.7 feet. Okay, so this last one, I am going to let you try and do it. This will be your assignment. This is what you are going to submit. Okay, have a good one. Bye.